Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone.
Good morning.
We are here with the beautiful and very talented and very
Thank you.
media mogul,
Oh gosh.
Pleshette from Sac Culture Hub. She's also an author and a whole lot of other things, but I am going to let her introduce herself. After your co-host, we go through our little thing that y'all ain't here to see us anyway, but after we go through our
I
little
love
thing
it.
that
I
we
love it.
usually do. So I am Ingrid Pinkin. I am an executive administrator with a passion for retail, hence
Mm.
CMR Collection and RMC Exclusive. And I am here for the business in the business love and tidbits. Miss Dom, go ahead and tell them who you are.
Good morning, everyone. I am a personal development and mindfulness coach. I am the founder and CEO of Sisters Inspiring Sisters. And I come from a very diverse background. I bring my personal experiences, my testimonies, as well as accounting, business, and counseling perspectives. So we work well together as a team to bring you business love and tidbits every week. Miss Pleshette, I am honored to have you.
Thank you so much, Miss Dom. And also look, I'm already very nervous. Ingrid, I just love the fact of you all inviting me to the show Business Love and Tidbits. And being, this being early morning, I'm such an early riser. And I've been seeing bits and pieces of the show. So I'm just really glad to be here this morning. I am the CEO of sacculturalhub.com, chief editor of the Hub magazine, and also executive director of our nonprofit Sac Cultural Hub Media Foundation.
Love it, love it. Well, y'all, we are gonna dive right in. We are not gonna hesitate. We have some questions for Pleshette.
Well,
And
before we get started with questions, I'm just excited. I'm excited to have Pleshette here because Pleshette was the first person I thought of when I created Sisters Inspiring Sisters. And for me, it was spirit thing because I didn't know Pleshette. I just been following her on Facebook. We've never met before, but she was the first person I was like, I have to have her. And so I invited. I was so excited. So, and I was so nervous. I was like, well, I don't know. She don't know me. I don't know if she's going to show up. And so I invited Pleshette to speak at our very first women's empowerment brunch, and it was like right at the cusp of COVID. So we were like nervous, like should we host it, not host it? And it was like at the very end where everything was about to shut down. It was like the final thing you could do. We hosted this event. Pleshette said yes, showed up, and we hosted this event to 40 beautiful women, and it was just such a beautiful kickstart to Sisters Inspiring Sisters. So I always hold space for you, and there's always love and appreciation, and also an admirement. We don't talk about admiring women.
mm-hmm.
And even though we don't talk every day, there's still a level of respect, admiring you, mentoring you, even if it's subconscious, right? I watch you, I appreciate the content, what you're doing. And so it's just such a beautiful thing to be able to say that we respect other women, and especially when they're older than me, right? And so it's a real deep love and appreciation for you, Pleshette. And so I need to get in your space.
Thank you so much. I remember when you had the brunch, and it was so wonderful. I mean, the energy there and the women that were there that welcomed me and just was so friendly. And I love the fact of being able to come and be a keynote speaker at that brunch. And I remember inviting a lot of my friends that came. So it was a wonderful experience. And I too, share that same respect that you're talking about for especially Black women, locally as well as regionally and nationally. That's something that, my grandmother has always taught me, is to respect not only our elders, but our colleagues and even our family members, so to have that certain level of respect. And then I want to talk about when we had you as a guest speaker at EWOC 2020. Everything went dark. for COVID. We didn't really know how we were going to adjust and pivot, and we did that. And that was kind of a difficult and complex time in our lives. I mean, we're 2 years post COVID, but I remember we put all of us putting that together and having the guest speakers, and you did an outstanding job. I mean, I've always loved your testimony, Dominique, and I've followed you as well. And I love all, I'm a family person, so I love all the family pics that you post of your children, and the way that you're helping women, which all of us should be doing. We should be helping other fellow women that are our friends, colleagues, and even those out there that may not be our friends. And how do we do that? We do it through our walk, our content, and also what we do in our different events. So I've always appreciated that in you and your organization.
Thank you.
Well, I thank you so much. That is so, y'all just look all this. Pleshette is dang near part of my family, y'all. I've known her for years.
Love it. Yes, Ingrid.
I think my sister, my brother in love, Lamont Smith, Curtis Lamont Smith, he knows her. And then
I
my
love
sister, I know. And then
Oh.
my sister is his wife. That's my sister. And so she was part of your thing. So like I said, she part of my family, y'all. So
Okay, I have to add to that, Ingrid. It's such a small world. Okay, so meeting Pastor Smith and his wife, and we met them when they weren't married. And I have to go back to my late sister Tucci, who passed.
Right.
We're all Genesis is still my church home, but that's where I met Pastor Smith and his wife. And again, we're so big on family. We're so big on marriages and relationships, especially Black love. So when I was introduced to him, I loved him so much instantly. I mean, when you talk about family, that it felt like family. Very authentic. And I follow them too. They are such a lovely couple. I loved when she had her when she got pregnant, she had her baby, and now
that's my mocha bean.
Yes. So wow, small world.
So that's why I said like Pleshette is like part of my family, y'all. She been and I'm a Genesis person too. I was there many years ago, so and was there for a while and still part of who I am. So absolutely, but we gonna dive on in.
Okay.
Let's grab one of these questions. Since we talked a little bit about family and we talked about being women. So let's talk about the industry that you're in. Being a Black woman in the media industry. What does that look like? What is that, your platform that you're on, all of that? What does that look like in your world, Pleshette? Let's talk about that.
Wow. So what does that look like? In this day and age, it's all about social media. So, but before social media came on, and the whole media industry, I watched it from afar when I was a young person. I loved the BET Awards when I was coming up. We were such event people, and I must say I grew up in the church. So before I fell into this industry, because a lot of people do know my background, but some people don't. Some people think I've just been in the media industry forever, but I have not. I come from I like to say, administrative secretarial background, where I am a Bay Area transplant. So this was not my forte at all. I mean, I grew up in East Palo Alto. I worked as a secretary at the Stanford University School of Medicine. And I started having my children. I have 3 grown daughters now and grandsons, but I had them in the Bay Area, and I was going to school at San Jose State. And I graduated from there. But while I was going there, raising my children and working, I stumbled across this magazine, and it was City Flight. It was called City Flight.
Okay.
And it was nothing that I had never seen before. Because again, I love magazines. I used to love picking up Essence, Ebony, Black Enterprise, all the different magazines at the grocery store. And then I picked up this magazine. It was local. It had Black people on it. It was filled with information about Black barbers and stylists and just different people in the community. And it was under the leadership of John Hilton. And I was like, it was being dropped off at all the churches, namely my church, St. John Baptist Church in East Palo Alto. And I used to pick it up all the time. And I used to be like, God, I wish I could be a part of this. This is just absolutely beautiful. Highlight all Black people locally, right?
Okay.
On the front cover, it was Black people. Like it would be either a pastor or a barber or a business owner that was on the front cover of this magazine. And it was just beautifully laid out. And I must say, John Hilton is at that time, he was also a very good friend of Larry Lee, who, and this is coming full circle, you know, as I'm talking about the whole media industry. So this was my first window into seeing what media was all about through the City Flight magazine. So I moved to me and my sister, my late sister who passed away, we moved to Sacramento in 2001. And I started working at UC Davis. And at the time, I knew I wanted to be in business for myself. So I didn't know what that looked like, but I knew that I was a very resourceful person because even back in the Bay Area, I was involved in a lot of things at my church, the Children's Church Ministry, and also a nonprofit organization that was working with youth in the community at that time to help them write resumes, help them complete applications for scholarships, get into college and write their essays. So I was really, really good at coming up with the resources for people, especially when it comes to buying a house when I first came here and what that looked like back then. So it was my sister who once told me, she says, well, I don't know why you're going to work to UC Davis every day because you know how to do all this stuff. You should be working for yourself.
Hello.
I'm a family of entrepreneurs, right?
Okay.
But I had a grandmother that was like, Clee, you're going to need to work. You're going to need to pay your mortgage. You're going to need to take care of your kids, and you're going to need your benefits. So you get your job and you stay on 8 to 5. That's what she wholeheartedly believed in. My sister, my mom, now my brother, they all are entrepreneurs, and they started off as entrepreneurs. And it was really, really scary for me to think of stepping out on faith into an industry of how I didn't know back then in 2002, when I launched the sacculturehub.com website. And I was like really scared because I was like, okay, how do I get people to pay for my services? You know, I had to go through that process. And Sacramento was really good in that it offered wonderful resources, great resources on how to start your business, how to apply for a small business loan or even a grant, how to get business liability insurance. And so, you know, it's just like, when you say, what did the media world look like for me back then? Well, it looked like starting the website, getting out information to people through this little text e-newsletter that I started.
I remember. I was here. I remember.
People just loved it. And the way newsletter, it was just color-coded, basically. It had no photos. It had no pictures or images. And so, you know, people.
But a Black woman was doing it. It was a Black woman doing it. It was like, what? What? This is from her? What? Oh, we have to support. It's like you have to support.
Yes.
I'm going to go into the next one. How transparent should you be in your local media area? That's Dom's area, you know, as far as how transparent should you be?
Y'all know me, I'm all over Facebook, sometimes a little too much. And I'll tell you this, when I first got started in the business, and first of all, to answer your questions, yes, you should be transparent. You should be transparent as much as possible to a limit in what you need to protect. And I'll, put some background to that. So when I first got into this business, I had to decide if I wanted to be in front of the business or be in back of the business. Because there's a lot of businesses out there that are owned by Black women, Black men, and just by people in general. You never know who is behind the business, right? But I started meeting people along the way. Zaretha Thompson, one of them, one of my biggest mentors, one of my biggest investors into Sac Culture Hub. She was my first inspiration that told me I wanted to be in front of the business, right? Because I used to see her on her van, her moving van. When I first moved here, she was everywhere. So that was the first thing. Then I met my first investor, what was Phil Javant. I met him at the Black Expo in 2000, I believe it was 2006. And at that time, it was him and some other investors, and they were interested in Sac Culture Hub, but they were interested not only in Sac Culture Hub, but they were interested in the owner, which was me. And and I learned at that time that it was through talking with them that I would learn that we are investing in you.
Yes.
We love the business, but we love the idea of you being very passionate about this business and wanting to share the stories of Black people.
I want y'all to hear this. Hear this, business people. Hear what she's saying.
Yes, yes. So, when we talk about transparency, and now social media is on the scene. It wasn't always on the scene,
right?
And in the beginning, me and my late sister have to always bring her in because she's always been a big part of Sac Culture Hub, and we've been very transparent about being direct in what we wanted from people when we first started. Like we became popular with the hair shows and the fashion shows, participating in Black expos, and we would be direct in grocery stores in the mall and going up to people asking them would they be a part of what we called the Hub Choice models at that time. And sometimes we didn't care how we looked, sometimes we did. It just depended on who we saw and who we wanted to connect with. But I think when you are authentically who you are, that's going to come across to people. Who you are. Now, some people will say, and this is just getting, into when, you pop up on Facebook, and I remember some of my colleagues would say, or even my children, Mom, when you come on Facebook, could you at least be wearing matching sports attire when you're doing your workout? Or could you wear some lipstick and, be... I've never been a person when I'm working out, I'll be in my bedroom, backyard. It doesn't matter. I have on workout clothes, but I've never been on that hype of it has to match. But now I praise the people who do. You match up, you look great on camera all the time. I have colleagues, they look good all the time. Hair laid, shoes, makeup, everything. And I have to give it to them because it's something that we as Black women have to practice more. Because image is everything. Perception of what people, how they see you. But again, if you remain consistent in who you are, how you post on social media, and how you how you comment, because people are following us. That's the main source of how people can contact us now, and also how they perceive us from the outside. And it's just how much we want to put out there for people to know. Sometimes I get really, really personal, and I'm realizing now, with a lot of things that are happening in the world today, and not to say I'm nowhere near no famous rapper, I'm nowhere near no Angela Bassett, Beyonce, or any of those things, but nowadays we do have to be careful about just how transparent we are when we are posting, where we are going, what we are doing, especially traveling as Black women.
Oh, yeah.
Or, our meetups that we do because, on Instagram, especially Facebook, and all these different things, because unfortunately people are trolling People got time. I don't know where people got time to follow people, from place to place on Facebook, Instagram, what they're doing to pinpoint,
Right.
okay,
Right.
I'm going to that location and I'm going to do whatever I want to them. Now I kind of veered off on another subject, but that again comes along with being transparent. So
Right.
if you're looking to come into this business or you are already into this business, we have to be very aware of that and the consequences of being transparent.
Okay.
I always tell people, especially my own daughters, I have daughters, I have family members, and I tell them, be very careful about just how, the word sometimes isn't just transparent, but about what you put out on your stories, on your Facebook posts, on your lives. This follows you. It is a footprint. People are watching. You never know where your next help is coming from. In my organization, I got so many people to live up to. I got my clients to live up to. I got my sponsors that are watching. I've got, my colleagues, my family members. So when you talk about your transparency, I do see myself as a leader now. At one time, I didn't really see myself as a leader, right? But as you are in this, and I am older, I'm turning 55 this year. So I've been making a big deal.
I'm part of the club, girl. I'm part of the club, honey. I'm 50. I turned 52 this month.
All right. Yeah. The new 50s is the new 30s anyway.
Hello. Hello. Honey.
You know
I heard what you said.
I wanted to add to that transparency. Is that we're watching so many different personalities on social media, and a lot of times we think that we can do and get away with what other people can do. And so we feel like, some people feel like, okay, well, I can post whatever I want and people are going to still support me. That's not always the case. So we have to be real careful on mimicking what other people do, because you might not get the same passes and the same opportunities that person may have got because of who they are, because of who their spirit is, or who they know, or whatever the situation is. You might not get that pass. That whatever you do and post might end your career, and the other person might have a flourishing, beautiful career after doing what they want. So we have to be careful. I just wanted to add that piece real quick about transparency. Like, be careful, be yourself, but be cautious that we're not all the same.
And you're so right, Dominique, because we have seen that, especially with, celebrities. The big word is canceled, and for some it doesn't last as long, but for some it's gone, and once you lose that perceived support of the public, and well, I won't say perceive, but the way people perceive you, and if you do lose that support and trying to build that back up, that could be catastrophic. It could be traumatizing. So again, I always tell people, try to see things from a big picture, not just here and now, right? There's so many of our young people, they're on this here and now, living for the moment. I'm all for it. But even, way back when, in my 20s and 30s, we're living in a whole different era now. I don't know what time zone, warp we're in.
Absolutely.
But I was even a big picture person back then. But that was a different time zone, right? We're talking 30 years ago when I was working at 14 years old at McDonald's. It was all about working because I want to be able to have enough money to buy my own school pictures, right? Because I grew up in a position where my mom couldn't afford all these different camping trips and different things that, in high school, and school clothes came around. And so we worked the summers. We did the summer program. So I could have, my $800 paycheck at the end of the summer to go buy my school clothes because, moms couldn't. I wanted to be able to buy my own school clothes if she couldn't do it like, other families that I saw were doing it. So, yeah, we do.
Well, I thank you that I know you. The next question was about best practices to be successful in your pursuit of local media influence. And you've answered quite a few of those already with saying what to do
I have
and
a
what
final
not
question.
to do. But I know that Dom has some stuff. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead, jump in.
Left, so we can answer this one fairly quickly. Is what advice would you give to other women entrepreneurs who want to form a public organization, a publicly sponsored, perceived program, is or anything in that aspect? Like, what advice would you give other women that are coming up today, that are starting their business today?
Okay, so if you're starting a nonprofit or even a for-profit, and you are actually working a full-time job, I would say don't give up your full-time or your part-time job. Use it as your foundation and base. Okay, because lots of folks, I talk to, people are just so ready to jump out here, and the new thing is I'm an influencer. YouTube influencer. And they think they can make money doing YouTube influencer or whatever it is that they're doing. And they don't realize that the very job that you are working now, I've worked all of my jobs for a very long time. I was at Stanford for 14 years and I was at UC Davis for 10 years. Now that may be as long as a lot of people who have worked for the state for 20 and 30 years, but it's enough to get a good foundation of skill sets and also to build your clientele. And guess what? UC Davis became one of my primary and biggest clients of Sac Cultural Hub because of the fact that I learned, and it's difficult. It can be very difficult to build a business while working a full-time or part-time job. But guess what? That's what entrepreneurship is all about. You've got to work the long nights. You've got to get up early morning. I used to be up at 3 a.m. I had the darkest circles at one time because of how much I was working the early hours of trying to manage this website, trying to do everything to run the business before, I started figuring out, again, advice for entrepreneurs. You can't do it all on your own. In the beginning, I was a person that I just want to be behind the scenes. I just want to work the computer. That's where I'm good at. I can bring all this excitement to the website for everyone to see. I don't need any help. This is all I want to do. But God had other plans for me. I sat down with someone who told me, because I did have other ideas for Sac Cultural Hub, and it was Rick Warren that I sat down with one day.
Oh, okay.
He said, you know what, Pleshette? And he really loved Sac Cultural Hub. And he was like, in the beginning, he could see the vision before I could. And he said, you know what, Pleshette? You're going to need a team. You're going to need a team to grow Sac Cultural Hub and to do everything you want to do with it. And at that time, I had no idea what he was talking. I was like, a team? Me? I got to work with other people. And then he said, you got to go to events, because I wasn't going to no events at that time. He said, you got to go to events. You got to network.
Do that sound familiar, Miss Dominique, Miss Dom Michelle? Do that sound familiar?
People do business with people.
Yes.
People don't do business with organizations. So they want to know, who is it that is running this business, or what is it that you're doing? Why is it that I should be your client, or why is it that I should, patronize your services, right? What is it? What kind of value you're going to bring to me? So another good advice is, when you're starting a business, either nonprofit or for-profit, make sure you are meeting a need. The aches and pains of either a certain age group, a certain population, nationality, a service that isn't being offered or is being offered, because there are multiple services and products being offered, but how is yours going to be different? How is it going to meet the aches and needs of the people that really want this? They need this, and it's going to be something that they can't do without. And then, as an entrepreneur starting out, never forget that your people most closest to you, your local network, and even your family members serve as the basis of your first clients. That will be your referral network. Okay. They're going to be your cheerleaders. And that is what really has propelled Sac Cultural Hub, is my family members, my local network at that time, who started telling other people. And then, of course, as an entrepreneur, what you do for people in whatever service, like for us in media, is sharing stories and is highlighting what people do. Okay. And we've done that through the Exceptional Woman of Color
Yes.
conference.
Tell us about that. I know it's coming up. Yes. Tell us about that, please. I know it's coming up. Give us the
Yes,
plug.
it is.
When is it happening? How do we get tickets? All of the juicy deets.
Okay, so we're 14 years in. This is our 14th annual Exceptional Woman of Color Expo and Awards. For short, it's EWOC. Everybody knows this as the EWOC Awards. It's become the staple of the community. Okay, everyone, they look forward to it almost like the Academy Awards, what we like to think. And this is where we give women in the community, women of color, emphasis African American women, we give them awards, the EWOC Excellence Awards. And this is based on nominations that have come in from the community, from people who have decided this is a person that is deserving of the award due to their accomplishments and achievements that would otherwise go unrecognized by mainstream media. Okay, so we give out scholarships as well. We're giving out 3 scholarships this year, 3 promising students who are actually in college. So we're really, really excited about that. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if you could still hear me. And so it's taking place Tuesday, September 20th. Okay, so, and we've kind of changed it over time. It used to be a Saturday day-long conference with workshops, but COVID hit, so we made some changes. Now it's an evening event, and it's a semi-formal event where, you can choose to wear long dresses, short dresses, but we get dressed up. It's a red carpet event, and it's taking place at the DoubleTree Hotel from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. with dinner. And we have some great speakers. We have a wonderful speaker from Los Angeles. She's a millennial keynote speaker. So this is our first time having a very young speaker. I think she's 33. So she has a story she's going to be sharing with us, a testimonial. Looking forward to that. And then we're going to have the State of Black Education presented by Dr. Ramona Bishop. So some really good stuff happening this year at the Exceptional Woman of Color Awards and Expo.
Okay. And how do we get tickets?
Okay, so you can go to ewalkawards.com or you can go to ewalk2022.eventbrite.com. So you can Google EWOC Awards as well, and we should come up, or go to the sacculturalhub.com website. But tickets definitely are still on sale up until the day of the event.
Well, we will make sure that we put all of that information down in the comment section. If you haven't seen it already, we will make sure that we put that down in the comment section for you guys. We'll also post it in the video for you as well, so that you can get your tickets. Yes, and be there on Tuesday.
Yes.
Maybe this would be a good opportunity for me to come out my shell a little bit. And
absolutely. You know what? I don't even know. Yes. I don't know why she say that. She coming with me.
Oh, good.
We going together.
We've got some special things planned, some different effects this year as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, we will you guys, we sent Business Love and Tidbits will be in the house. Hey sis, and of course RMC, IR Pinkett Professional Services.
I love it.
In the house.
Wonderful.
So come out and share with us. Come out and join us, right? And we support our sister in the media.
Absolutely. Can I do a shout out? Because I always forget these people. So I have to give a shout out. Like I said, an organization that is successful with its team members that support it. Okay. And these are not just team members. These are support people. This is family. This is my colleagues. Shout out to first Vicki Blakely. I had to bring up my notebook because I can't stand when I leave people out. So Vicki Blakely, Michael Blair, Michael Coleman, Twyla Lester, Leslie Leatherwood, Donna Ramos, Valerie Scruggs, Nakisha Henry, Adrian Belcher Harris, and then I have to, of course, shout out my board of directors: Stacy Anderson, Sheila Bennett, Holly Brown, William Jamal Miller, Gary Simon, and Zaretha Thompson. Also, Candace Wilder, Randall Ogans, Michelle Mitchell, Kimberly Bailey, and I got to give it up to my late grandmother. I would not be here in the position that I am for my family, for my business, for my personal, if it wasn't for Ardeen Brown, who passed away in 2016. My dear mom, I love you so much, Mommy. Oh. And my dad, he's always been so supportive. He's attended EWalk. He's loved it. My grandmother attended EWalk like 2 or 3 years in a row. So my mom is there every single year. And my daughters, Shania, Stephanie, and Star, you guys might remember them. They were at every expo. They were pushing the subscriptions. People bought magazines for them. I love them to death. Let me see. Oh, and of course, my family members, all of my extended family members, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins. Gigi, where you at? This is a girl. I love Gigi so much. Her and Tucci, they make me feel like the superstar that I am. Let me tell you, when your family, because they are the hardest person to convince who you are, because they can care less. 30
okay.
If you don't got them convinced, they ain't interested.
Especially, you gotta get them enrolled. You gotta get them enrolled. Get them enrolled in. You get them enrolled in. Especially, but you can enroll your. And Pleshette is right. If you can enroll your family members, honey, you got it going on.
You do. So shout out to Mother Goats, aka my sister Gigi. Thank you for everything. Thank you for always shouting me out. Sac Culture Hub. She loves Sac Culture Hub to death. So I think I got everyone.
You know what? Thank you so much for coming, Pleshette. We do not take for granted your time. Viewers, we don't take for granted your time either. You could have been doing anything else with your early morning time, but you came to share it with us. Pleshette, she dropped some amazing jewels. Don't forget to check out Sac Culture Hub. Get your tickets for EWalk on Tuesday night. We will see you again. Don't forget, we are streaming on all Facebook platforms and on YouTube as well. Business Love and Tidbits. Miss Dom Michelle on Facebook and an IP Tidbit as well on Facebook pages. Please, 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 we will see you again on Monday, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, because we in Cali.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I love you both.
We love you too, Pleshette. Thank you so very much.